I fall in the dark as I'm filled with the energy rising in me. I am watching from above. My body as I dream, above my body as I dream. I cannot recall all the clear space in my mind. I have filled it with fire and the lies I had once believed. All the lies reveal themselves to me.
Hey guys, how's it going? Getting spin down stuff set up, and then we're gonna get into some racing. We're gonna start with performing the factory spin down. So it's got to warm up for 3 minutes for that one. So we're gonna let this one warm up here for a bit. Get our camera running. I can't figure out on this warm-up is it says to ride at a comfortable speed, but it puts no pressure on the pedals, so I'm riding at a speed on the kicker at 31 miles an hour right now, but it's almost no power input. So today I think we're gonna race, I think it's Iron Goat race, and maybe it's a 3R race. The first one's Innsbruck Ring, a short one, like 16 miles. And then the second one is it's two laps on Innsbruck of the hill, and it's a hilltop finish. So I'm not exactly sure what that one's called, but going for more of a kind of a training deal today. The first race, we're just going to kind of sit in and ride, get warmed up, put some time in. Second race is all going to be about two, FTP type intervals. Hard work on the hills. So we've got 25 seconds here before the spin down. We're doing the factory calibration right now on the kicker. Alright, it says performing spin down now, so we gotta let it spin down. While it's spinning down, on the, this is on the Garmin head unit, we're gonna hit enter and we're gonna perform a calibration on the pedals. Current calibration 0, I'm not sure if you can see that or not. So we've got a calibration on the pedals on this head unit. We're doing the spin down on the kicker right now. Waiting for the kicker to complete that one, and then we'll have to spin up again, do another. Okay, waiting for target speed. Now we're doing the second part of the factory spin down. Spin up, and then stop. This one spins down fast. This is the one that spins down the brake. Spin down is done. And now we're going to do a regular spin down. Actually, what's this say here? I'm actually curious. So, what this says, this is in the kicker menu. A spin down is used to determine the power required to overcome the friction in the bearings and the belt on your kicker. It's not necessary to do a spin down before each ride. You should do a spin down after transporting your kicker or every 2 weeks. Please ride approximately 10 minutes before performing a spin down. So let's ride a little bit here before we do this again, actually. Let's get Zwift open and started here. Sorry, I'm looking for something here. There it is. We want the FEC version of the kicker here. We're going to ride this race, and we're going to ride this race. Oh. Oh, come on. Gotta slam on the brakes here. Oh, what do we want to ride for? There we go. Yeah, there we go. That looks good. What was I gonna do now? I'm gonna build up a little bit of heat in the kicker here. Something I was gonna do and I can't remember now. Oh, I remember now. Gotta get you guys some sound. Alright, you guys should have game sounds now. gotta reset that for every race for some reason. Gonna unpair here, perform the spin down. While it's spinning down, I'm gonna kick on the fan here. So this is the final kicker spin down setup we're gonna get here. "26 seconds, 71 degrees. I haven't added more monitors lately, like in the last few days or week or so. But I did like a week ago. We are paired up there. Gotta turn on all my fans here. Fans are on. Thanks, Poppy. I appreciate that. We gotta turn on the filters real quick. Alright. Mic filter's on now. Plug in the phone. We're gonna be ready to go. Not sure why Canadian app's not picking up yet, but for some reason. There it goes. Alright, 32 seconds. We'll be rock and roll here. Not sure what to expect. We're gonna kind of sit in for most of this. Ooh, I got flew past. We're just gonna roll out here and ride with the group and see how the race goes. It's amazing how you can go from the back to the front, or front to the back so fast. So far it's good. Just riding in the pack. Get the legs warmed up. The leg snapper coming up will get interesting. The leg snapper should break the race up a little bit. New to Zwift. I'd have to research that a little bit on what to get first, because I'm not sure what unlocks when as far as levels go. But getting a good aero wheel set and getting a good bike frame, something like probably the Zwift Aero bike, and a good aero set of wheels is probably really good from a speed and racing competition perspective. I'm just not sure which ones you unlock first. I'd have to do a little research for that. Especially on the wheel set. I think like the Zwift Aero bike, you can get pretty quickly without leveling up. But I'm not sure which of the fast wheels are the quickest ones you can get. Oh, I didn't realize doping was in here. Or maybe this isn't the race I'm in. Oh, this is Volcano Flat. I'm not Volcano Flat. I'm in Innsbruck Ring Flat. I was opening up the wrong race. Yeah, it'd be nice if you could get something before then. That's a long time to wait. Maybe even like the Envy, some of the Envy wheels might open up sooner than that. Here we go, up, up, up.
Irish. I think I agree, Nike. I think I agree. Not a fan. These guys backed right off. Yeah, Poppy, look up Zwift Insider. Zwift Insider's website has all kinds of articles on climbing, best climbing wheels, best climbing frames, best flat course bikes, wheels. It also has some info on there about the store, the drop shop, and when different things get unlocked from a level perspective. So it's probably your primary source for all the facts behind it. Yeah, so what you gotta look at, Poppy, is the actual results. They give you the best, but you can open up the spreadsheet that they provide and compare that to when things become available to figure out what's the best for a newbie. So, you gotta do a little research if you don't have the experience and the levels to buy the best. They don't have a direct article to say this is what's best for a noob, but they've got all the facts there. You just have to put it together yourself. I actually will give that recommendation though, Poppy. Do Zwift Insider, because I think that's a good point to bring up. They need to write an article for, like, your path to fast bikes as a newbie. Like, what unlocks when, how to get the fastest bike as soon as possible, kind of thing. Like, level 1 through level 8, this is your best. Level 8 through level 12, this is your best. You know, like, that's what they need to give you yet. I'll send that tip to Zwift Insiders later today. I think you'd be all over that, actually, Poppy. I think you'd be all over getting something like that out there. Two banners, no power-ups. Got 2 more shots of something good to finish here. The back got us. Stringer's a B going off the front. I think that's Stringer. Maybe not. Hey Matt Jazz, what's up, man? Thanks, Matt. Yeah, so far I feel good. The first kicker was actually pretty hard, but still getting the legs warmed up too. We'll see how this one feels. Yeah. Yeah, we got another race we're doing after this race. This is a training day. Sitting in and going as easy as we can on this race. And then the next race has some hills in it. Whew. Shit. This is it. Right here. We're in the lead pack. Oh, practice. Make sure you're getting the right foot down, the correct foot down, so you don't get pedal strike. Don't pedal through the corner. There's a lot of technique to it. Yeah. Yeah, mountain biking will help. Biggest thing is watch the pedal strike and your outside leg should be pointed down. Try to keep the weight on the outside pedal. Those are the simple things. And man, just do what you're comfortable with. And just accept it for what it is. I don't know that overleaning is going to help. It's really just a balance thing. Keep the weight low. That's what putting it on the outside foot is. It's not about leaning, it's about keeping traction. Went across that gap, and they pulled right back to it. Yeah, but with a week to go, you can't stress about all that. Just don't overthink it, man. Find good lines, keep that outside foot weighted, and stay within your comfort zone. Hey, Charlie. Make sure you're sprinting hard out of the corners. If they do drop you in the corner, get back quickly. I wouldn't be a great descender either. I don't do enough of it to get that much experience at it. No heart rate. It'll come back to you pretty quick, though. Just relax. Then keep the fundamentals in place. The biggest thing is probably just relaxing. If you overstress and overthink, you'll probably make more mistakes than just deep breaths. Do what you can. Chase back hard if you get gapped. I know for me, I'll be way more mistake prone and slow if I get stressed and tensed up over it. Alright, hill coming up. Yeah, man. I hear you, man. Alright, here we go. Guy's got no heart rate. We're catching. We got it. All right. I'm on power up. Ah, shit. Nothing. Oh. Not easy. Oh. Oh. No power up? That's what you gotta do. Oh, good. I didn't think it'd stick. I almost gave up on it. That was a brutal effort. Yeah, for sure. Was spinning down the kicker quick. Aha, Porsche Cat, nice. I'm gonna do another one here. Not sure what we're gonna have in this next one. Just gonna be steady efforts up the climbs. The difference in power between the two power meters on that race was 4 watts average. Thanks, man. Yeah. Woo. Temp is 49.7 degrees. Uh, 122 degrees. Whew. The race went well, but I got a little bit of that. Oh. I got that weird heart rhythm going. Thanks. I don't like that. We won the race. A couple guys got away after the last kicker, but one guy got away. They got a good chase going. One guy kind of bridged. It was about 3 seconds. Another guy was closing the bridge down. As soon as we caught with 1 mile to go, I attacked all in. I won by about 2 seconds on about a 1 mile breakaway. And that's the solid red numbers. Red graph you see at the bottom there was my race finish. It was a big minute to finish. It's got me at 8.1 for a 1 minute effort in Zwift Power. That's about 570 watts for 1 minute. And I definitely had to go for longer than a minute, I believe. I did 9.4. Well, those were on the kickers though, right? We did 500 watts for about a minute and a half. Yeah. Thanks, Frontline. We're getting into the next race here. We can't go that hard in this next one. Yeah, there's sure not the variety that Trainer Road has, nor the information or the structure. So, there's good individual workouts on Zwift. But I think to get a plan to work for you on Zwift, I think you gotta, it's a lot easier to kind of build your own, get some ideas, and do it on your own. I'm not feeling strong after that race now. Yeah, if you do dual amp plus sticks, or run one of them with Bluetooth, you could control the trainer with one setup, with one controller, and just have Zwift read the power, You can also build workouts on Training Peaks, and from Training Peaks you can save them as a ZWO file into and put them in Swift if you like building them in Training Peaks better. I don't know if there's a way to convert from Trainer Road over or not. Oh. I'm not sure what I'm going to have on the hill here. We need 20-minute efforts now. And those big kicks took a lot out of me. It helps, Carlo. It helps, buddy. I'm not gonna push that hard. That'll let around 300. Thanks, T. Anderson.
Stuck in this coffin of mine. I gotta try to get out. You gotta help me 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 get out.
I am live on the YouTube, yeah. Thanks, Wilchie Flam. What is that? First race just zapped me, man. Just not here. I'm about 4 days into some heart fatigue too. Yeah. And I didn't come into today rested. This is my last hard day before resting for Super League this week. So, we'll just do what we can do here. Steady heart climbing. We did a lot of this yesterday too. It's one lap, starting at the top of the hill. Just the way the laps are counted. So essentially we're going to go to the top, descend, and go straight back up again. Thanks, Ryan. This is Innsbruck. I think this is the reverse Innsbruck climb. I'll be completely rested up for the Super League race. Obviously, I won't do a race beforehand. So tomorrow, I'll do full rest. And Monday or Tuesday, I'll just do a short leg opener workout. And I'll hit Wednesday ready to go. I'll do a nice long, like 30-40 minute warm up before the race. I normally don't use like gels and stuff, but I'll take a gel before the Super League race. Like, just everything I can do to enhance performance from a nutrition and a comfort and a freshness perspective. I won't react to chat much during Super League. I won't distract myself with that. I'll stay laser focused on the race. And then it's just all about having a little extra motivation, being the viewership around it. The races themselves are usually a little harder pace, but I can sit in the pack. They're usually not too jumpy on the flats, so it's just a good solid hard effort, holding on tight on the hard parts and resting as much as you can between them, hoping for good power-ups to sprint at the end. I'm really hot and falling apart here today. Hi. One of my fans wasn't on. I got right back into training mode after the race. I'll ride more Wednesday night after the Super League, and then I'll keep riding like normal after that. Like, with the Super League being every week or two, depending on when you're riding it, you can't do like full week-long tapers for the race. Like, you gotta keep your training up or you lose all your fitness. So, I don't back off the taper for it other than the Monday, Tuesday before race day. We'll try to catch these guys for the downhill. Hey, bro. What's up, man? Agree, Poppy, agree. Hey, Micah. Rebel and Madison Genesis have been great. I thought we were closer to the top. This top's a long way away here. This one's brutal. I don't know this climb. Nah, I knew the pros that took it seriously would be tough by week 3 or 4. Madison Genesis was ready to begin with. Ribble was probably the biggest fast learner, to be honest with you. Dimension Data did well too. Wow, this climb never ends. The boy's not a B. He's got a 4.4 for 20 in his history. Well, first, it's also, defining the scope of the problem is one thing. I believe the problem, or the specifics within the Super League, are way blown out of proportion. Yes, the Cofidis rider is a big concern at 8 kilograms. But John Mold and those guys that were 2 or 3 kilos don't make that bigger than what it is. Part of it is, I think, the riders themselves. I don't want to minimize the issue, but I will promise you, from when I step on the scale in the morning to when I step on the scale at 7 o'clock at night, you will see 2 kilos difference. I eat a lot of freaking food. So, those numbers by themselves are not a huge concern to me. The community riders knew the sensitivity of the topic. So when we had things like eCrit and CBR World Cup, we were extra diligent to get a good weigh-in. And for CBR, for example, the organizers were even nice enough to allow us to weigh in the day before. So people weren't trying to walk into the competition completely like dehydrated and lack of nutrition to weigh in. Like our weigh-ins, I think were actually no, on LA we weighed in Saturday morning. Like we didn't race till noon, and the weigh-in was like, 8 a.m. or something. So we got up, we went over there, weighed in, and then ate breakfast. Real simple. So I think that's one thing that showed, though, the community understood a little more, the community riders, how much under a microscope we were. I don't think the pros understood the gravity of that weigh-in and how closely it would be scrutinized. So I don't think they did anything wrong. I don't think they were any further off. Yes, they measured my height as well. I don't think they were any farther off or out of proportion in general than most of the community riders that went to live events. I just don't think that they prepared for the live event to ensure a perfect weigh-in. that could be part on the side of the organizer, and that could be part on the side of the rider. Now, the other parts of that is, I do think they need a little better protocol for the weigh-ins. I will say, and people were kind of hard on Zwift on this, but there also wasn't a public outcry for it. But we absolutely had to provide weigh-in videos. I had to redo my weigh-in video, because my original weigh-in video was me holding the camera, you know, and I was showing around the room, and to me it was still clear I wasn't touching anything or anything like that. But the one I did for Zwift Transparency was me with a camera doing it. And the Zwift required weigh-in had to be videotaped by a third party. So I had to get a family member to come down and hold the camera. So I literally was touching nothing, hands to my side, like... So, and every rider in the league is required to do that. So... the guy that's 8 kilograms off, you gotta question, like, how in the hell did they do his weigh-in, or what's he been eating? The guys that are 2 kilograms off, I mean, I don't like the fact that everybody was 2 kilograms off, but it's hard to finger point at one specific guy. I will say, when I went to live events, all 3 of my live events that I went to, when I weighed in, yeah. So a lot of people were critical after that came out, like, well, why wasn't Zwift telling us that they were making people do that? Well, I think Zwift was probably just thinking, like, we're managing it, why do we need to broadcast to the public what we're doing? But I think some of that transparency would help Zwift a little bit too. I've done 3 live events now. I did Roanoke, Virginia. It's been 2 years ago now. And then about a year ago, I did LA, CVR, World Cup, Los Angeles, and I did eCrit in LA. And in all 3 of my live events, I got to reduce my weight in-game after the weigh-in. So, I am at least happy about that. I was very careful to go into those live events being able to very easily meet the weigh-in. What people aren't talking about, which is actually a little more frustrating to me, why aren't people crucifying these trainer companies? There is something else that happens at live events that impacts these races way more than 2 kilograms of weight. Yeah, Anderson, it's an integrity thing. I think the pro riders underestimated the magnifying glass that they were under. I don't think any of them were intentionally trying to fudge their weight. And I think all of them, you know, that 2 kilograms, 3's getting borderline, but 2 kilograms, that's pretty unintentional and very easily can just be variability with training and tapering, right? Now I don't want to discount, as this gets bigger and bigger, like Zwift's gotta be sure that these people are accurate. I've always liked the idea of some sort of licensing system, where like once every 3 or 6 months or a year, you have to go to some certified licensing facility to verify that information to maintain a certain level of licensing. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm just as concerned about a local bike shop Oh, the trainers, yeah. Sorry, I got sidetracked there. Yeah, you're right, Poppy. The trainers. Way more impact to races overall than a 2 kilogram weight shift. Now, don't get me wrong, there's weight dopers out there. But these power dropouts, this complete mess of drop signals when we pack 10 trainers into a room, ruining guys' races that travel all the way across the world to race. Like, trainer companies need to fix that shit. It is absolutely killing people's ability to ride at these live events. I've had every one of my live events impacted by power dropouts. So at Roanoke, Virginia, me and Scotty Weiss are in a breakaway. We're 45 seconds up from the pack. I get a power dropout. Scotty gets a 10-second gap on me. I have to TT to the finish. I got second. I probably would have got second anyway, but I could have held on to Scotty and sprinted. And the trainer took that ability away from me. CBR LA. I had a great weekend. Finished 3rd overall. But the very first competition on Sunday that started me out behind, halfway up the mountain climb in the hilly race, I'm in the pack with, I think it was 3rd through 8th place in a pack climbing, and I was climbing comfortably, and I had a 5-second power dropout. I finished that race in 7th place, and I held more power than 4th place in that race. So, I could have beat Lionel Sanders, potentially, had I not had that dropout. I could have got 2nd place money. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I would have burned too many matches staying in that pack. But it impacted it. It altered the outcome of the race, regardless. E-crit. I had 5-6 dropouts in that one. One of those dropouts, I grabbed 2 gears to sprint back onto the pack, dropped a chain, stuck the chain in the rear derailleur, and I had to stop. I had to stop for like 30 seconds, get off the trainer, pull my chain out, and continue the race. I could have finished top 5 in that race. No problem. I was comfortable. But the trainer peeled me out the back. So, Adam Zimmerman at the Super League Live event got thrown off the back 2 miles into the race. Yeah, front line. Absolutely. Just wire him. Nah, just wire him. Don't try to fix the wireless. Keep the wireless functionality so people can still use wireless if they want to. But just put a USB plug on them. When you plug that USB plug into your computer, make your computer believe that's an ANT Plus module plugged in, broadcasting power. The programs shouldn't even have to write code for it. You should be able to do all of that work in how you implement the plug on the trainer. That they should be able to set a trainer down right now, plug it into the PC, and Zwift sees it as an ANT Plus dongle. That's what it should be. You want to impact racing, make a high quality, non-calibration needed trainer, plus or minus 1% on the power meter, that plugs in. when we get into pros, the pro league crap, if you're going to do a KISS Super League, if you're going to do a pro esports league with true outdoor pros, get the sanctioning body involved. All these guys show up to races. Make them weigh in at a race, at a true outdoor race. They're going to go to at least one of those a year to get a proper weight on these guys. Make them weigh in. Just for record-keeping purposes. Create your own league with sanctions. You know, a certain number of your riders have to show up at live events every year. Penalize them. Usually the trainer. I've ridden 3 different trainers at live, oh no, 2 different trainers at live events. I've rode Neos, and Hammers. Yeah, for sure, Nike. Trust me, man. You know how much hell I get when I show up and race a Cat 4 race? But I haven't met the criteria to Cat up. So yeah, guys, I don't want to minimize the weight concerns. It's easily cheated. I won't deny that. And I think the process needs to be better. But I also don't believe some of the guys that are taking a beating right now deserve the beating they're getting. I think the criticism of the process is fair, not of all the riders. And I say all the riders. Some of them, yes. Not all of them. The other part we all have to remember, let's just not play dumb. Pro racing teams will do anything they can get away with to get an advantage in general. So, as much as you want to believe they're all racing clean, they're only racing as clean as they have to pass the tests. So, at some point, if they know they've got 2 kilograms grace, you don't think that eventually they're all going to take that 2 kilograms grace and use it? I don't know. I learned a good lesson in church today, actually. No, Anderson. Nope, no way. Doesn't matter. I'll come back to that in a second. My lesson in church today was like, okay, we all believe, or the world will generally say, like, everybody wants to be good and has good intentions. And in reality, actually, we kind of live in a broken world, right? Like, I think everyone has guilt when they aren't good, and they've got that tension in their body if they're not being good. But actually, our natural tendency is to be selfish. And as much as we want to believe everybody's got good intentions, I think everybody wants to be good. And I think everybody's got that guilt in them generally to be good. But usually that selfishness is stronger than that guilt. If there's not a consequence to it. Trainer difficulty doesn't matter, Anderson, unless you're running out of gear. Watts are watts. It's about doing the watts to overcome the terrain. The only way trainer difficulty should come into play is if you also, like, mandate other equipment things. Because if you make me go to trainer difficulty 100%, I'm just going to change the gearing on my bike to make that feel comfortable for me. All it does is force me to spend more money. It doesn't make me race differently. So I don't see the reason of forcing people to do that. Now, some guys race with trainer difficulty at like 0. I don't think that's an advantage, other than they don't really have a risk of dropping gears, like dropping a chain. Some guys squawk that that's an advantage. I actually don't think it is, because if you're not feeling the hills, you're less likely to react to the hills. So, I don't like it. Like, I don't have to look at the screen to know I need to push harder because the trainer is fighting back against me. So of all the things that I think are important to look at in racing, I don't think trainer difficulty is one of them. A little bit of both, Poppy. We pick our roster each week, kind of based on the course and who's good at what. And then we all have some natural things that we like to do and that we're good at and that sort of thing. So then within that roster, you kind of get an idea who's going to do what. A lot of like the mid-race work goes to guys like me, Kim Little. You're talking about a full carbon frame or just the seat stays? I'm not sure which ones were like half carbon, half alloy. I can tell you most of the full carbon ones though. At least from Mint's bikes. Like your Tarmac, your Roubaix are going to be full carbon. I don't know any of them that are like half and half. JVB, I don't know of anybody that has yet. You should be able to. Zwift has got to fix the fans at live events. They need to get blowers, not fans. They need to get mini versions of what's in front of me here. What's the bike name, do you know? Like the model name? $10 speed or 11 speed? Okay, when you look at the shifters, is there a cable that comes out the side of the hood for the shift cable? Or does the shift cable route underneath the bar tape? Can you see in pictures, like your hoods are here, like on the inside of the hood, is there a cable that comes out to the frame? Or are all the cables under the bar tape? Okay, if it's coming out of the hoods, it's a pretty old model 105. It's gonna be 9 or 10 speed. The last 1 or 2 versions of 105 10 speed had under tape routing. Honestly, the 105 that comes out the side of the hoods isn't even as good, probably, as the Tiagra that you can buy now that routes under the tape. Probably still not bad. I mean, if it's in good shape and that, it'll still function fine. But, that's one thing I look at, like when you're looking at used bikes to tell, like, what vintage the shifter set is. I run 105 on the bike I'm on right now, but it's under bar tape routed cabling, and it's 10 speed. If it was the same style shifters that I'm using now at that price, as long as the frame wasn't broke and it was rideable with that group set, it's worth that money. Yeah, Carlo, that's for sure. Gotta fit. we get done with the workout today, we're going to pull up the two power files and compare them.
I was hoping you could fix these broken scenes, floating through the puzzles and the endless screens. I've got something for you, and it's cutting deep. Now the music's over. Will you come with me? Tell me you can feel it, though we're oceans apart.
This climb gets fast across the top here. It's a long way still to the finish here. Look at the big face and the hillside in front of us. You guys seeing any stutter in my stream today? I watched the VOD yesterday, and there was some stuttering every couple seconds. So I backed down on a couple settings. Okay, good. I turned down a setting or two from yesterday. See if I could get rid of that stutter. I don't know if that stutter was in my live stream or just in the VOD. I'm guessing it was in the live stream because I could see it on YouTube and Twitch VODs. Yeah. I don't know if that's the intent or not, Poppy, but it's fitting, right? The top of a 20-minute climb. I got my butt kicked on this race. Top 4 held over 5-0 for the race. Guys, I don't know what has happened in Zwift Racing. We've either got stronger people showing up or more and more problems with setups. Because last summer, or last winter, if you had more than 2 guys in a race, in a big race, that averaged over 5-0 for the entire race, it was a crazy hard race. This is just kind of a normal race, and we had 4 guys over that threshold. KISS Community League the other day had 17 guys over 5-0 for the race, and they had guys over 6 for the race. Guys, that just did not ever happen a year ago, and we had crazy strong guys. The same guys that were winning live events last year are still winning live events this year. So the people that are showing up to live events are still the same people doing the same power, but there's all these other ones that are doing crazy events. Yeah, I mean, the cone is a result of that. I mean, the people going that hard run that risk. So, yeah, well, the problem is if they just turn the cones off, it just amps up the crazy, right? Regardless of what the issue is, and I'll explain that here once I turn the fans off a little bit. So regardless of what the issue is, so you've got two camps on this, right? You've got the people who believe this issue. Hold on. Fixing my mic a little bit. And I'll say neither one of these camps is completely right. 100% right, okay? So I'm going to say that up front. Neither side of this argument is 100% right. It's somewhere in the middle. It's just figuring out where in the middle it's at. But there's people who believe it's getting crazier because there's no controls on it and people are fudging their setups, whether it's weight, calibration, whatever. And there's people on the other side of it who are saying people are getting stronger. So with people getting stronger, or more people are showing up, they're stronger people, these riders are really that strong. We're just getting a better caliber of rider in the community. So you've got these two people. There's the group that wants to believe everybody's right, they're really that strong, they're really that good, and they need to remove the cones or they need to do something different because these guys, it's not fair to them. And you've got the other side of it that are saying these people really aren't that strong for whatever reason, intentional or not, doesn't matter, but that it's a setup problem. It's not a strength problem. So the reality of that's somewhere in the middle. Regardless of what the reality of it is, something, they need to resolve it. Turning off the cones doesn't resolve it. I'm going to pedal just a little bit here just to get more miles. We're going for miles. So the cone, C. Anderson, is if you do a certain time over a certain distance or a certain segment on Zwift, you'll get what they call a cone that gets thrown out. Poppy, I don't know. I'm just saying there's two opinions to that. Some people believe that he's really that strong. Some people believe it's a setup, calibration, riding style problem. There's an ever-going, ongoing debate about that. Just turning off the cone doesn't resolve that. He either needs to be proven good or setup resolved, right? That's the solution. There needs to be definitive proof of good, or I'm good, Bugsador, I'm good. We're just finishing up a ride here. So we're going to turn off our head units here while we're talking, and we're going to end each one of these rides. And we're going to plug these two head units in to the computer quick. Hey, Weebles, what's up, man? We're plugging in our two head units quick at the end of our ride so we can compare stats. So I gotta go get stuff plugged in here quick. Alright. Head units are plugged in, sorry. So, there was a race recently. Let me move the bike. We were talking about shifters coming out of the hoods. You can see here, no cables coming out of the side of my hoods. So this is my setup that I can just lift that out of the way. Turn my fan down onto low. I'll lower my keyboard tray. Hey, look, we're still getting miles. We're just gonna keep on coasting down the hill. So let's get back to our discussion. There was a race where a bunch of people got coned. Yes, there was. I believe that specific time segment needs to go away, or the time needs to change on it. That specific segment is the easiest one for us to hit in a race because it's a 10-mile segment. It's a lap of the Richmond UCI course. If you have a couple of really strong or really crazy power guys on the front pulling for the entire lap, you can do pretty modest numbers and get that cone. So that is a cone problem. That specific instance is a cone problem. But the instance where Messi got coned on the mountain this week, that I don't believe is that is the harder issue, right? That's a power cone or something else that's going on. But in the end, that's the one where I'm saying they either need to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's right, or they need to figure out what's wrong with the setup. I don't know, and I'm not going to speculate which side of the fence it's on there. I don't want to get into that debate. But one or the other has to happen. It's got to be confidently proven right, or the issue's got to be resolved. So let's save this. Save and exit. We'll go to our double camera setup. Actually, we'll go to this setup. I don't know if I can move this up if you can see more. The camera doesn't point down very far on this with me sitting here like this. So what I'm doing real quick is I can show you guys this. I don't know why I'm hiding this. I'll show you exactly what I'm doing, so there's no question about what I'm doing. So, cancel out of here. We're going here. We're selecting files. This is the DC Rainmaker Analyzer app, guys, just so you know. And we're going to select files. You see here we've got the element bolt. We're going to pull this up. I can't pull it directly into the DC Rainmaker Analyzer app from here because it gives me some sort of weird error. I think it's something weird because this isn't a lettered drive. So I always copy from here and I move it to my D drive and I put it in this fit file directory. So I just move it over here, I paste, and I'll just copy and replace. I'd already done this before I showed it to you guys. So now I copied it over to here. It's here, and I'm going to open it from here. So that's one fit file. That was being recorded on my element bolt right here, and that is the kicker that you guys saw me calibrate in stream today. We did the full factory calibration at the beginning. We warmed up for 10 minutes and did a regular spin down. We did a race, and then between races we did another spin down. So you guys saw me do 3 spin downs on that during today's ride. And then now we're going to go to the Garmin. We're going to go to the activities on the Garmin. And we're going to pull the activity from today. This was recording my pedals. And I calibrated my pedals while I was doing the spin down on the kicker at the beginning of the ride. I calibrated my pedals. I held up the Garmin and I showed you guys the calibration on that. It was kind of hard to see, but I did that on stream as well. So this is, I pulled both of those in. You can see here the base numbers at the bottom. So you've got purple and blue. And if you look up here in the upper right-hand corner, you see that the blue actually recognizes that it's my Favero pedals. The purple just says it's recorded from my element bolt, but that's my kicker. And if we scroll down a little bit, I can show you that here in a little bit. But over the entire ride, you can see here, this fit file, which is my Garmin, has 229 watts. And this is my element bolt, has 230 watts. We are 1.4 watts average difference over the entire ride. Now I actually know, because I had the averages up next to me. You'll also, I'm going to show you guys something interesting here, and this is where calibration can matter. We're going to do this first race. This was the first race, here to here. Notice this, the pedals
we're 5 watts high for this race. And actually, let's line something up here first. Do you see here? This is heart rate. Do you see where the blue line is a little bit further down than the purple line? If I go to the bottom, I can offset the blue ride by a second or two. So this is the blue ride. We're going to add a 2-second offset to this and see if we can get that to line up a little bit better. So if I do that and I come back up to the heart rate, let's see what the heart rate looks like now. The blue is too far off. Maybe I need to go the other way. Try this again. Do I need to go -2 maybe? What we're trying to do is get the heart rate graphs almost perfectly over top of one another, and that'll prove that like the timing is right. So this is 43 seconds. 42 seconds. Okay, so I think we can go back 1 more second on the blue and maybe get it even closer. So what I'm trying to do is get the heart... If I get the heart rate graph to line up, then we know like the timing is like near perfect. So we're actually moving it 1 second at a time to try to line up the seconds in the graphs. And see now where the heart rate graphs almost perfectly overlap. So now there's not a couple second difference in the power. So I'm going to highlight this entire first race. The entire first race, you see here, we've got roughly a 4 watt difference. The pedals were about 4 watts over the element bolt. 4 watts at about 300 is... that's 1.3%. About 1.5% difference over the average watts over the entire first race. So we're going to refresh this to get back to the full graph again. The second race, so right here we did a spin down. That's what this little section is in here, is a spin down. We did a spin down here, and we started the second race. And on this race, we're about 2 watts low on the kicker. So we did a warm spin down on the kicker and got a little bit closer. So when we spun down before the first race, it was a 80-degree kicker, and we had about a 4 watt difference. We spun down at 120 degrees on the kicker, and now we've got a 2 watt difference. This is probably drivetrain differences. But over the entire ride, remember, like, so both race instances, the kicker's been 2 or 4 watts low. Actually, over the entire ride, the kicker is a little bit high. And this has been true always, and I don't know why. But in these instances here, where I'm soft pedaling, where is it? No, that's not even it either. I'll have to go back and look a little bit, study a little bit. Where that's happening at. So let's look here, the first climb in the race. The kicker is still 3 watts low there. And the kicker's still low there. So how are we getting a high kicker across the entire... I think it's up. We still have the kicker basically even. So let's record beginning to end here. Get rid of like the warm up and the cool down. Okay, so it's something in maybe the end of the race. It's something at the very beginning or the very end, like in my warm up here or in my cool down. It might be this cool down. You see how this little purple jagged line jumps up here? In the cooldown at the end, I think this might be what's causing that to line up a little bit better over the whole ride. But in general, the kicker is tracking a little bit off. I shouldn't say off. It's It's what, 1 to 4 watts low. That's not off, guys. You know, that's. Let's turn on some smoothing here to look at this a little closer too. We're gonna do a 1 second smoothing interval. Let's save that. What I want to look at now is, so we did this really big effort at the end of this first race. So let's look at what this big interval was at the end of this race. How did that look across? This is where I attacked at the end of that race. You can see the blue and the purple aren't perfectly together here. They're offset just a little bit. That may be from the offset that I did below. But you can see here, they track pretty well together. They peak out about the same number here. Like I say, you can see the timing's off a little bit in the power curve. We lined it up on the heart rate, but the power is a little different. So one may be recording a little different than the other. You got to remember, like from here to here, this is a 1 second difference here, guys. So, you know, that's not a significant difference. I think if I back up the blue about 3 seconds, we can probably get this really good. We're gonna go 2 more seconds back on the blue. I just want to try to get this to look a nice pretty overlay for you guys to see. Okay, there we go. We got the power graphs nice and pretty over top of one another here. You can see they spike together. You always see that little bit of variance. The kicker is a little more jagged in the ups and downs. That's the purple line versus the blue line. That's the pedals. But they track really well together here. And this is that big effort that, what is it, basically from here to here was the attack at the end of the race. 541 on the pedals, 532 on the kicker. And they track out really well through there. What else is there to look at here? What a lot of people always like to look at is this full power curve. Blue is the pedals, purple is the kicker. The peak power is a little higher on the pedals. The pedals seem to hold a little high all the way through this peak power. Remember, I went harder in the first race when we had the cold spin down on the kicker, and we saw that the kicker got a little bit closer to the pedals when we did the warm spin down. So all of these numbers that are really high numbers, up to probably the 20-minute power, all came from the first race when we didn't have quite the perfect calibration on here. But we're still very close through here. Like right here at 15 seconds, we are 11 watts off. It's 11 watts out of 700. We're still at like 1.5%. We get right here together at this 3-minute number, 379 versus 375. You can see how the farther we go here, the numbers come right into line. 2 or 3 watts all the way down the chain through an hour to the end. Hey, Scotty, we're comparing the kicker numbers to the pedals here. Things are lining up really well. So we did pre-race and mid-race, or between race calibrations on the kicker. And so, yeah, we're finishing up. We did about 3 hours. We did a couple, or about 2 hours. We did a couple races here. And finishing up. Yeah, I was worried. You were signed up. You were registered for the race I just finished, and it was my second race. And I was like, oh, no, I don't want to chase Scotty up this hill. I got beat by the seas, I think. We pretty much gave up mid-first climb and just rode. But it was fun. We had a good Innsbruck Ring race, the first race, and we didn't get a good power-up, so we had to do a 1-minute sprint for the finish, or a 1-mile sprint for the finish. It wasn't 1 minute, it was 1 mile. We did a 1-mile attack and won by about 5 seconds on a really big finish. So it was fun. So here you can see average power for the full event. The top numbers. Ah, nice. Outside. That's where I want to go. Next weekend, it's supposed to be 60 degrees, guys. We may be limited live streaming next weekend. We'll see. The highlighted numbers here are pedals. The unhighlighted numbers here are kicker. Over the entire ride, they're about 1 watt difference. The weighted power, the pedals are a little higher than the kicker. Max power is really close. We're 12 watts difference in max power. You can see the heart rates averages are identical, showing you it's from the same ride. You guys watched me do all the upload and all that. So Everything looked good. Have a fun ride, Scotty. This was our ride that we just got done with. Let's go check out to see what we did in that first race. This was the first race we did. I didn't get any rank points. But, Fromm set a record on the 1 minute power for him. We had a pretty good 5 minute and 1 minute number for me, actually. 5.7 and 8.2 are pretty good numbers there. It explains why I was a little soft in race 2, coming straight off of that with like 5 minutes rest. So, yeah, overall we had a good day, I think, here, guys. Appreciate everybody who joined in. What did we have for total time and distance here? I think we... let me refresh this guy. Put things in perspective. We did have an hour and 45-minute ride at 230 watts with race pace intervals in there, so that was a lot of fun. We got some more power comparisons in. We're comfortable. Oh, sorry. We're comfortable with the pedals versus the trainer. Everything looked good. Almost done. Haha. I'm gonna pull up Twitch here and see what we got going on Twitch. I don't know if you guys did see, though, one thing we were... we did a little testing on, and the idea, there was some belief out there that this bursting method, this sprint rest, sprint rest, sprint rest kind of thing was a advantage in Zwift. And from a Zwift perspective, doing the same average power, bursting and non-bursting, there is no advantage to bursting. I've proven it. I've uploaded it to YouTube. I shared it out on the forums. I took a guy that bursted to 500 watts, 150. 500, 150. We were 5 seconds on, 3 seconds off. And we tested 5 seconds on, 5 seconds off, and 5 seconds on and 3 seconds off. We tested both scenarios at 500 watts to 150 watts. Next, riding alongside the same sized rider, same bike, and they were doing average watts that matched the same average watts as the burster, and they did the same pace. It was not an advantage to burst. So some of the theories out there that the bursting method is a valid way to get an advantage in Zwift, that's not true from it's not true from a Zwift mechanics perspective. So if you are getting an advantage from bursting, it's not because Zwift acceleration and CDA models are giving you that advantage. It has to be, if it is an advantage for a reason, it is not an internal Zwift advantage. It has to be a mechanical advantage within your setup somewhere. So that is one thing that we found. So guys, I think I'm going to call it quits now. It's been a good, fun ride. Nice long afternoon riding. We've had a lot of people chatting with us. We appreciate it. If you guys ever have any questions about Zwift and that, hit me up. We're going to give Westy a raid over here. He's doing a workout, and I saw it look like Zwift just crashed on him, and he's frustrated. So let's see if we can give Westy some hearts. Give Westy some hearts in the chat, right? Let's give him a hard time. Give him some love. We're going to give Westy the raid. And thanks, everybody, for hanging out with me. Hope you all have a good weekend. Not sure if I'll be here tomorrow or not. We'll definitely be here Tuesday doing some leg openers and then Super League on Wednesday. So it's going to be a fun race week. And we're going to raid Westy now. Give him some love in chat, and we'll talk to y'all later.